want to show to you guys in this video the 3 worst fat loss mistakes you can ever receive from anyone, from an average person especially. And the reason why I want to share this is because most people out there, they still do these things. And so I thought, let me just spread that and help you and let you guys know that this is the worst thing you guys are ever doing. So yeah, get right straight into it. First thing is, you need to be doing HIIT workouts, ab exercises. You need to target a specific muscle to lose that specific layer of body fat. That's not true at all, because fat loss, overall fat loss, you can't choose a specific layer to lose fat. You lose fat differently depending on genetics, but in order to lose your overall fat that you have within you, you need to simply be in a calorie deficit. You need to be in a consistent calorie deficit, as well as also strength training. Because if you don't strength train, you're in a calorie deficit, you're just going to end up losing weight instead of losing fat. And meaning, you're just going to end up losing muscle. But we don't want to lose muscle, because if we lose muscle, then you're barely going to lose fat. So we want to maximize losing fat as much as possible. And how do we do this? We need to maintain as much muscle as possible. And so by us maintaining as much muscle as possible, we need to be strength training anywhere between 3 to 5 times a week. Now, depending on your schedule, obviously pick whether you want to do 3 days, 4 days, or 5 days. But for beginners or people who've been training for 6 to 12 months, I think their better approach will be 3 to 4 days a week. But if you're someone that's, you're capable of training 5 days a week and you've been training for quite a long time, then yeah, you're more likely able to stick to doing 5 days a week. But obviously, depending on your life, because we all have a life, I'd say for most people it's best to train 3 to 4 days a week. Like me, I've been training for 3 years now, and I'm doing a 4-day split. And I see way more progress from doing a 4-day split than a 5-day split. So yeah, just note that more doesn't always equal better. And so I'd rather you train 3 to 4 days a week than train 5 to 6 days a week, to give your body some more time for it to recover. So you need to be strength training find a program that best suits your schedule, find a split that best suits your schedule, and stick to that same split. Stop constantly switching up your splits, and don't constantly switch exercises as well. Also, don't get me wrong, you can have the best training split in the world, but if you don't train with a good enough intensity, then you will struggle to lose muscle, because the intensity compared to when bulking and cutting doesn't change. It stays the same. People think on the cut you can wing it with no intensity. Trust me, you can't. Because if you don't train with a good enough intensity, then you're not gonna maintain the muscle tissue that you have. Unless obviously if it's your deload week, then yeah, because it's 1 week. 1 week, obviously you're not gonna lose muscle in 1 week, are you? Unless if it's your deload week, then you must be training with a good enough intensity. So don't think that you just doing your cardio can have a successful session. You're gonna successfully lose fat by you just doing your cardio and doing HIIT workouts. It doesn't work like that. You need to strength train the muscle. You need to be doing some sort of resistance training in order for you to maintain muscle, especially your legs as well, because legs makes up 50% of your physique. So yeah, I'd rather you look bigger when you're leaner than look leaner when you're skinny. So yeah, that's the first thing. Now the second thing would be is you don't need to track your calories. That's a complete myth. You must track your calories. Now don't get me wrong, you can possibly still lose weight by you tracking your calories, without you tracking your calories, but most people, they don't end up losing weight without them tracking their calories, but because they end up more likely underestimating how much food they're eating, or overestimating it for a fact. And just because you're eating these healthy, high calorie dense meals like peanut butter, jam, banana, well, jam's not really that healthy, but there is a healthy alternative to jam that I bought at Morrison's the other day. But yeah, anyways, yeah, bananas, dates, just because these are healthy doesn't mean that it's gonna help you lose weight or lose fat. Because yes, you must be healthy, don't get me wrong, you need to have nutrient dense meals, you can still have these, but to control it properly, especially nuts as well. and we control it by us weighing the foods and tracking these, simply tracking these. Now, you don't have to track forever, but it's a very good habit for you to develop, because you know you'll end up, because once you develop that habit, you'll start to realize that you've underestimated or overestimated how much food you've actually been eating. You know, people think you're eating 1400 calories, but trust me, once you track that, you're gonna end up being like, oh my god, that wasn't even 1400 calories. That was twice that amount, bro. That was 2800. So it's very important for you to, you know, weigh out your portion sizes so we can track our calories, and you will end up losing weight way more easily. It just makes fat loss easier once you track your calories, especially when you eat the same meals daily as well. So, and aka the same foods. But yeah, track your calories. Trust me, it will make fat loss easier, and it's a very good habit to develop as a man as well, or even as a woman as well. But yeah, that's the second thing. Now the third thing, the worst fat loss mistake ever, is to cut out carbs completely. That's completely a bad myth to listen to. You know, it's still being said a lot, because how are you going to sustain that extreme dieting of the carnivore, the animal-based diet? You're not going to sustain it. You're going to have the worst gym performance ever, because carbs literally help to restore muscle glycogen, helps to bring muscle glycogen within your muscle, or glycogen within your muscles. So if you don't have the glycogen within your muscles, how do you expect your gym performance to be solid? It's not going to be solid. You're just going to end up having the worst gym performance ever. And you're just going to look very bare skinny. Like, it's normal to feel skinny in the cut, but you're going to look bare skinny, like to the point where, you know, like you'll see a difference between you looking bare flat and you looking quite flat with the carbs, trust me. And you'll just basically, like, you'll look way less fuller, you know. And your energy levels are going to be poor, because carbs do help you with energy. It's simply your body's main source of energy that's used for your workouts, you know. So to fix this, simply set up your macros by you having carbs within your diet, and to determine how much carbs you need to have within your diet. Obviously, 1 gram per pound of body weight, we all know that, and fats 20 to 10% of your overall calories, and then the rest of your calories gets filled with carbs. That's simply the amount of carbs you need to be eating. And don't be scared of carbs, because carbs, I didn't take carbs out of my diet. I've been in this fat loss phase for almost 17 weeks now, and I went from this to this, and I didn't cut out carbs completely by going from this to this. So if I'm living proof of carbs are the enemy, then I don't know what else to say to you guys. If this doesn't show to you that carbs aren't the enemy, then I don't know what does. So yeah, don't cut out carbs completely. Don't listen to anyone that says, oh, you need to cut out carbs completely, because number one, you're not going to stick to that. You're going to just, you are going to be losing weight, but that's mostly water weight. And then hence, once you have carbs back, you're going to end up just feeling so demotivated, because the water weight is just going to gain back. You know, you're just going to end up gaining weight back, and you're just going to automatically think, oh my God, I've lost fat, I've rebounded, you know? So don't cut out carbs completely. Have carbs when you're in a diet, trust me. Have something like oats, bananas, dates, you name it, you know, potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice maybe as well, and yeah, just fruits as well. So yeah, have carbs, man, especially fibrous carbs. They will help you, they will help make your diet more sustainable. It will help you to sustain your plan, trust me. So yeah, don't cut. That's the 3 biggest gym myths that you must completely avoid whenever you hear someone online saying this, saying that, or even from average people as well. So yeah, that's it from me. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If not, then the fact that you've watched this video is good enough for me. Thanks for watching as always. I will see you lot in the next video.